Hi, my name is Adam Funk, and I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas. I specialize in birth injury litigation. Today, I want to talk to you about the difference between cerebral palsy and genetic disorders. First, let's talk about what each one is. Cerebral palsy is a condition that is due to a brain injury. Typically, what happens is there is a lack of oxygen that gets to the brain during labor and delivery, and that causes some sort of brain tissue death. That brain tissue death leads to brain damage, and it typically affects the part of the brain that handles coordination, muscle tone, and movements of the muscle. That leads to cerebral palsy. A genetic disorder, on the other hand, is something totally different. It could be a chromosomal abnormality, it could be a disorder, it could be a disease. The biggest difference between cerebral palsy and a genetic disorder is that genetic disorders are not preventable. It is something that the newborn was born with and something that he or she had throughout the pregnancy. A lot of times, what hospitals will do is that they will say, this is a genetic issue. Something happened during the formation of the fetus, and that is why your child has cerebral palsy or some sort of movement disorder. However, it is extremely important as a parent to question that. And the reason being is because a hospital will look towards what is a condition that has no liability. Genetic disorder was not preventable. There's no way a hospital can reverse course on a chromosomal abnormality. So what they do is they pin it on genetics and they say, we didn't do anything wrong. But a lot of times that is simply not true. A hospital can prevent a cerebral palsy condition that is due to some sort of hypoxic event, such as oxygen deprivation to the brain. How do you find out whether or not your newborn has cerebral palsy due to oxygen deprivation or a genetic disorder? There's a lot of tests that you can look into. First and foremost is a genetic test. Look and see from a chromosomal standpoint whether or not your child has any abnormalities. If there aren't any, signs point to cerebral palsy being the cause. Also, look at any type of radiology you can get your hands on for your newborn at this time. For example, head ultrasounds or brain ultrasounds right after the baby was born are extremely important, but so are brain MRIs. Typically, brain MRI damage does not show up until about 2 years of age. So if your child has not yet reached the age of 2, talk to your pediatrician, talk to a pediatric neurologist about scheduling an MRI. That MRI will tell us whether or not the brain damage has occurred due to oxygen deprivation or something completely different. My name is Adam Funk. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding any of these issues in relation to cerebral palsy and genetic disorders.